Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today is an extremely different video. Today I am doing a video about anxiety slash borderline depression. Now I have suffered with anxiety and I suffered a little bit with depression for a while now. It kind of has been hitting different aspects of my life, and what I mean by that is after Bo, my last boyfriend, passed away, before my husband Jeff, he passed away while we were asleep, and it kind of transgressed into Jeffrey and I's relationship because I was always fearful that Jeffrey was not going to wake up. Now it has gone more into driving. I don't really experience it unless I'm on the road, and that is the scariest place to have anxiety on because I freak out. It makes me think I'm not doing a good job on the road. It just is not good for anybody. So I figured I'd come in here and talk about it because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's going through this. And I figured if y'all were going through this, this might help you out as well. I have suffered with anxiety for a while now. It started, I believe, as depression after Bo passed away. And I started taking Zoloft, which worked amazingly. It was a short-time fix. I didn't want to take it long. I knew the repercussions and everything going in, talking to a doctor, which is the one thing I would recommend if y'all are going to be taking this medication. Don't just start taking it. Definitely talk to a doctor because you can have suicidal thoughts. That's actually what happened to me. This previous time I took Zoloft is I started thinking things and it wasn't like me. So I talked with Jeffrey and he helped me through it, and I just kind of cut myself off, which you don't want to do either. You kind of want to lean yourself off any kind of medication. I was just so freaked out that I just stopped taking it, and it made my body's hormones and everything insane. I was sick. I remember when I was working at Red Robin, I told my managers that I needed to chew gum. Anything with peppermint to ease my stomach because I felt like I was going to throw up all the time. Granted, my first experience was really good. I didn't have any issues. It wasn't until I had gotten into a car wreck a few years ago. I believe it was, I don't know if it was like right before or right after Christmas. I think it was like right before Christmas, and it was almost 3 years ago. Because I remember Jeffrey and I just had gotten together. And that, I think, has how it's transgressed into our relationship, because it used to be when Jeffrey would fall asleep, I'd be freaked out, and scared like that. But now it's gotten to the point where when I'm driving, I flip out. And that's not cool at all. I get really scared when I'm in any sorts of traffic. I don't like to go driving. I love to drive, but I can't separate my anxiety, so that makes it difficult to go to any kind of like mall without freaking out. So what's been going on lately is I'll be around people and I'll start freaking out, and what I kind of have learned is just to take a breather, just to kind of get myself through that and to just relax and pray and for God to take some of this anxiety away while I am driving. Now, I'd gotten in a wreck, like I was saying, sorry to jump off the subject, a couple years ago, or 3 years ago, and I had rear-ended the guy, and he actually was driving illegally, so he got taken to jail, and it didn't go on my record or anything, thank gosh, it was just a warning, but it freaks me out so bad because, here I am in a new car, freaking out thinking I'm going to hit somebody, and I really think that part of it is to do with the money. It just freaks me out because I'd be like, oh, there's another expense we have to go to. Especially with having a brand new car, that makes it almost 10 times worse. I thought it was going to get better having like a SUV like crossover kind of thing, just because I'd be higher up, I have more visibility, but I'm still freaked out. So Jeffrey and I thought that this was going to kind of cure it by getting a new vehicle, and then later on figured out it's not. Downloaded, which I will show you guys. I used to do, when I worked at Red Robin, which was like 4 years ago, use a hypnotherapy app on my phone. And so I just recently thought about it, actually today recently, and they have ones for anxiety. So it is the Be Anxiety Free Hypnotherapy, which I'll load it and see. I haven't used this before. I literally, like I said, just downloaded it. This app in the bottom left hand corner, if you can see that. Hopefully it'll autofocus. It's been having difficulty autofocus. There you go. So it's that app right there. It is on the Play app on the Galaxy and Android phones. The other thing that I kind of have been looking into is things on Pinterest, because I love Pinterest and I think that's very helpful to me, is to kind of get advice from other people, just like I'm sharing with y'all. There was one quote that I really absolutely loved. I might print it out and put it in my car. It says, "One of the happiest moments in life is when you find the courage to let go of what you can't change." And that's very true. I could go back and do things differently, but I can't. I can't go back in time. So I can't change anything. So I just have to move on with my future. Now this vlog is actually, I mean, this is not a vlog, but video is going to be all over the place because Jeffrey and I were talking, and I'm really wanting to go back to school for physical therapy assistance. I don't really want to do personal training that much anymore. It would be kind of a waste for me to go, you know, through all this schooling. And Jeffrey gave me a choice to either, you know, go back to school, or we would wait to have kids, because we were planning on having kids the end of next year, like starting to get pregnant and everything. And he just told me that I had to make a choice, and I agree with that to a degree, because I've never had to make like a big decision before, and it just puts me in the driver's seat at that point. And so I did choose a kid, but it would be pointless for me to go to school for personal training when that's not really what I want to do. I really want to do physical therapy assistance. So, you know, he just made me like realize a lot of things, you know, and he's pretty good about like talking to me. Like, I literally was bawling first half of this day, talking to him about work and everything and trying to transfer, and, you know, just how uncomfortable I was feeling. Because I feel like I'm taking on a lot of manager responsibilities, and I guess because I'm a hard worker, they look for me to do more, and that's not necessarily what I want to do at this point. It puts a lot of stress on me, and a lot of added stress, and I work so many hours, so it is difficult for me to do other things I want. And, you know, I do agree with Jeffrey about, you know, having to make the choice and the decision, you know, do you want school, do you want kids? You know, he's like, I don't want you to regret me or the kids for that sake. And I completely understand, and I agree, and it's not like I can't go back to school later. Some people say it's hard, but if that's really what you want to do, then you can definitely do it within means. There's some questions on here that I really wanted, that I looked up, that I definitely want to answer. It off Pinterest. It says, Introduction to Anxiety. Anxiety is the body's response to situations that are interpreted as threatening. Without any anxiety, you probably make bad decisions such as driving too fast on the highway or not paying your bills. However, too much anxiety can lead to avoidance or unpleasant physical, emotion, and cognitive symptoms. So it asks me, it says, what are some of the things that trigger your anxiety? And these are kind of like the things that I answered, I think, with the depression when I went in to talk to my doctor about the Zoloft. And what triggers my anxiety is driving. Like, that triggers my anxiety so bad. Not being able to have the control, because that's probably one of the reasons that I figured that out, is me being looked to as a manager right now, or kind of like, I am a sales associate, but I have the responsibilities of a manager, kind of, and that makes me have anxiety as well. That and driving, not having the control, their lack of. What physical symptoms do you experience when you are anxious? I get really, really sweaty, kind of like I am now right now a little bit. I get cautious of other drivers. I try to stay away. Just a ton of different stuff. What are some of the things that I have when, or what are some of the thoughts that I have when I'm anxious? Please, God, don't let me hit anybody. Don't let anybody hit me. The funny thing is, I may have hit somebody, but I'm actually more scared of somebody hitting me than me hitting them. I know that sounds weird, but that's how it is. What do you do to cope when you're anxious? I talk to you guys. I do, but I try to breathe. I try to take a deep breath in and out. I actually clench onto the steering wheel, but for like a couple seconds, and then like release and relax. What else do I do? I just try to breathe and pray. That's about the only 3 things that I do. Will I allow myself to play the victim, or will I choose to be responsible for the situation? That is exactly kind of the same thing Jeffrey asked me earlier. He's like, you decided to do your music, which is fine. He said, I'm proud of you, I married you because you are who you are. I love you basically for who you are. And it just hits the nail on the head. It's something to think about, I'm like rereading it so I can answer this correctly. I can't blame anybody other than myself for not going to school earlier. I can't. I wish that I hadn't been so lazy after I'd kind of figured out that, the music wasn't going the way I wanted it to be, where I wanted it to be. Yeah, I wish I could go back and, gone to school earlier, but at that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I actually did go to hair school. I have an issue with communicating with people. I can't stand stupidity. I kind of can't stand when things don't go my way. And I don't want to say that because that sounds so, like, crappy of me, if you'll put it lightly. But I can't communicate well with people that I can't respect, in a sense. And that's one of the things that I had an issue with when I went to school. I had a girl who didn't like me, and I don't really know exactly what happened. Some kind of rumor went on, and I didn't say what they thought I said, and so I just kind of pretty much never went back. I did like doing it, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. So in that sense, I really didn't lose anything. I didn't have to pay anything, which was very fortunate. But it's not something I wanted to do, and it took me a while to find something that I wanted to do, and this has just been the most recent, doing this. And it's not like I wouldn't like to do personal training, but I'd really rather do physical therapy assistance because that's really what I'm motivated to do right now. So in a nutshell, I could go back and blame whoever for whatever, but that doesn't take the fact that, I am to blame for this, and just going on in the future and doing what I can do to better myself. I know that last week was Suicide Prevention Week, and I know I'm late, but this is a big topic to me, and already being on the Zoloft and everything, and how it affects your body and everything, just made me more aware. And I've always been kind of curious as how drugs affect the mind and body, but actually being through it is pretty scary nonetheless. Extremely scary. I would never wish that on anybody, even my worst enemy. I just say take life one step at a time, and one day at a time, obviously. And if y'all have any questions about anxiety, or how to coping, or y'all have any tips, that would be awesome as well. I've been told, just to pray while I'm on the road, and just kind of take deep breaths, and, I'm going to try this hypnotherapy thing and see how this works. Just want to better myself, and I feel like this is really going to help that. And if any of y'all are going through the same thing, comment down below and we can help each other out. Until the next time, guys, bye.